Usual in the late afternoon sun. The air was clean and dry, with a summer breeze that carried the salty ocean scent from the harbor up to the castle grounds. Today, the stadium had not been used for its intended purpose, sports. Instead, it had been converted into the site of an elaborate feast for Priscia's 10th birthday. The party had been lavish. Dozens of courses of the finest foods from the farthest corners of Epoca. Cretan honey cakes, figs from Phoenix, Barbarian pistachios and persimmons. There had been towers of blue grapes, pyramids of juicy oranges, trays of sizzling meats, and steaming baskets of breads. For the adults, there had been fountains of the best Megaran wine, and for the children, spirit water from the Delphic springs that cascaded down into cups from a waterfall built for the occasion. There had been troops of singers and dancers from the exotic outlands. There had been trained animals and acrobats, but one thing had been missing: fun. Because Priscia's birthday was never just Priscia's birthday. It was a state occasion of the highest importance. Priscia Praxis Onara was Princess of Epoca, heir to the crown of dreams and the throne of fears. And Priscia wasn't just any old princess. She was the first noble-born child to have parents from both royal houses in Epoca. Her father, King Eros, a dreamer, was head of House Somni, and her mother, Queen Helena, a realist, ruled House Relia. The king and queen's marriage had been a scandal that had reached from the tip-top of Mount Oli in the east to the Rodan Islands in the Western Sea and even to the distant outlands of Phoenix and Alkebulan. Marriage between the two houses was unheard of, especially among the highest ranks of Epocan nobility. But Eros and Helena ignored the gossip that said their union was improper and shameful. And when Priscia was born, many, many years later, after much worry and anxiety that the supposedly unnatural marriage would not produce an heir, the royal family named her the Child of Hope and declared that she was going to bring a new era of peace to Epoca. Thinking of this now, looking out at the remnants of the gala left on the field, Priscia rolled her eyes. Child of hope, indeed. She didn't care about any of that, especially not on her birthday. She just wanted a normal party, like a normal kid. But the truth was, she was rarely, if ever, treated as normal. Priscia's birthday was the only time each year the royal houses, Relia and Somni, came together in their entirety. And not even the supposed Child of Hope could make it a relaxed occasion. Priscia's whole extended family had been in attendance. All her royal aunts, uncles, and second cousins on both her mother's and father's sides. Hundreds of people she'd never met before, or if she had, she'd forgotten. Hundreds of people, Priscia had begun to understand, who resented her parents' marriage. The union between the artistic, creative, and sometimes distracted dreamers and the practical, determined, and often overly competitive realists. That morning, as she'd stood in her room, forced into her fancy party dress, her mother had once more reminded her of exactly how important she was to the country. How everyone was expecting great things of her, how she was going to be the most important queen ever to rule Epoca. And of course, this meant that at the party, she had to behave. She couldn't twitch or scratch her nose or look bored or play with her food or laugh or whisper. Not that she had anyone to play, laugh, or whisper with. Which was why Priscia so vehemently disliked her birthday year after boring year. It felt more like a state dinner than a celebration. She'd overheard, from eavesdropping on the castle workers' kids, that at real birthday parties there were games and songs and adventures instead of dull